Europeans enjoy the moment and just kind of do what they have to just get by, live their life, enjoy their life, while North Americans, kind of Canadians, Americans, kind of like, okay, let me work super hard to enjoy later, when there's a way where you can enjoy it now and still enjoy it for the rest of your life. But it's kind of like, it's a thing of balance. I think people in Canada are starting to understand that more and more. I feel like people from Paris use a lot more English words than people from Quebec. People from Quebec, they really focus on, like, we have this thing, it's like franglais, which is like English and French, and it's like a crime if you do it. Like, when I would do it in school, like, they would genuinely, like, they would look at you, the teachers would look at you sideways and be like, what are you doing? Speak French, don't mix them. And it was like, I remember my dad he was on me as a kid growing up, because sometimes I'd mix them around. And that's one thing that I love, is like, in Canada, it's like, if you're speaking French, speak French. Don't mix.
Welcome to another episode of World to the Max. I'm your host, as always, Maxime. The goal is to get to know different countries, different cultures, different people too, different ways of thinking. And today, there's nobody better than Nicholas from Canada. How are you, man?
I'm pretty good. Thank you for having me.
All good, man. All good. So, little story. We've met in Spain, actually, playing in the same team in Spain. And we've stayed in touch, and good friend from Canada. And today, and actually, we've connected even better because we both speak French, because it's from the French-speaking area of Canada. So the first question I'm going to ask you is about the country itself. Give us an idea of where it is in the world.
Well, in the world, if you look at a map, it's pretty easily to spot. It's right above the States, second biggest country in the world. So it's hard to miss. But where I'm from, more specifically, is the East Coast. It's from the capital, Ottawa. So it's like 5 hours away from Toronto, an hour and a half from Montreal, more or less.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Canada is such a big country. Tell me about the population. I don't think it's that populated.
No, I think it's close to 50 million, if that. I don't know if it's not much more than that, if it is. For the size of the country, we don't have that many people, but it's because the more north you go, it just gets ridiculously cold, to the point where it's like, you don't want to live there. So everyone just lives close to the border at the bottom. So
Yeah, exactly. So you would say like about 80-90% of people are living on the border to like the United States and
yeah,
out.
yeah.
This
Well,
part.
it's like maybe a little less, but like at least 75% of the whole population is at the bottom. So I'd argue it's more than that, but I could fairly say the 75 minimum is all at the bottom.
Yeah, because you would think 50 million in such a big land, you wouldn't feel like there's so many people concentrated. But do you feel like it's very concentrated when like in those big cities?
Not really. Like, it feels like, obviously, like, Toronto's probably one of the biggest ones. It's definitely one of the most like popular ones when it comes to the world. But it's like, I look at Montreal, like, yeah, okay, it's big. It's a big city. It's a big metropolitan city. Toronto as well, Vancouver as well. But at the end of the day, it's not dense. Like, I look at Ottawa, especially the capital where I live. It's like, yeah, you have the center, and then everywhere else is just houses and rural neighborhoods and stuff like that. So it's not dense. It's not like, we're not talking about like New York, where it's like everyone's just like on top of each other. Like, lots of people live in houses where it's like more neighborhoodish, more obviously it's growing, but it's not super dense to like New York, for example. Toronto's definitely a bit more, but even then it's not that dense.
Exactly. The idea I have of Canada is like a place where people have enough space for themselves. Like it's big enough so that it's enough nature, enough trees, etc.
Where I live, it's like a small town of 2,000 people. We live 45 minutes away from the city, which is Ottawa. But at the same time, like, when I'm driving, I drive like on the highway to go to the city. It's just trees, fields. It's like, there's a bunch of nature, a bunch of very beautiful parks, especially in like, if you go more West Coast and Banff and stuff like that, it's beautiful. Like, it's one of the like most beautiful natural parks there is. It's a very natural country, I'd say. It's not very, because it's so big, right? So you're bound to have places like that.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of tourists come to Canada to visit those national parks.
A
It's
lot
the
of them,
main.
yeah. So there's a very big Mont Tremblant, which is, it's in Quebec. It's an hour 40 away from my house. I used to go there for hiking because they have a very nice hiking trail. And it's like, in the summer, there's a lot of tourists that would go there. You see them because, like, most of the people who aren't tourists hike the mountain, and people who are tourists just take the gondola all the way up, and you can see, you kind of know who's visiting and who just comes there for the experience of the hiking and stuff, right? More the locals are the hikers, and then you have a lot more tourism where just take the gondola all the way up. And but it's beautiful. Like I said, it's I love going there. I've been multiple times. You can even go there in the winter to go skiing. So it's like it's really nice that you have kind of like that diversity of activities that you can do, I guess, all year long.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I, I mean, most people see Canada as like the place to see nature and enjoy nature to the fullest. So definitely. Well, you also have insane waterfalls and all those things.
Mhm.
So of course,
Yeah, the Niagara Falls, which is it's that's another that's another sight to see for sure. That's closer to Toronto, yeah.
have you been there before?
Ironically, I haven't. Like you'd think that I would have, but it's like one of those things where it's like you're Canadian, you know of it, but you're not like, oh, I need to go there, right? Like if you're on vacation, it's like you go to vacation to a certain country, you want to see everything. But when you kind of live there, I feel like you kind of like miss out on stuff because you're kind of like, okay, well, I've known what they are my whole life. I've seen so many pictures. I've been close, but I've never been to them. And it's kind of like, oh, I can't be asked to go. I don't know.
Yeah, it's usually the people that live next to it that don't really visit.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
you take it for granted, right? It's like, okay, it's there. I know it's there. Like it's not gonna disappear.
yeah. I mean, it's fair. It's fair. I don't know how long it took me to go to the Eiffel Tower, but probably about 16 or 15 years of my
Yeah,
life.
it's like it's just one of those things where it's like, well, I've even that's happened with me in Madrid because this is like technically it's my fourth year in Spain, but my third year in Madrid. And my first year I did lots of sightseeing. My second year I didn't, and then on my third year I'm starting to do it more. But just kind of like I have friends that tell me, "Oh, why don't you go visit this is like I live here. Like I don't like it's different. It's different than when you're visiting somewhere because you want to see stuff. But when you live there, it's kind of like I don't know. It just takes the novelty away from it, kind of.
Oh, of course, of course. I mean, and then you have things to do, you have your routine, you don't really.
Exactly.
No, fair enough, fair enough. One thing I want to talk about is obviously the language, because Canada is one of these countries where there are different national languages depending on where you live. So talk to me about this duality of English and French.
So in Canada, for sure, it's an interesting situation because they're both recognized as official languages for the country. French and English are both official languages, and lots of people think that there's no one in the West Coast that speaks French. There's a lot less than the East Coast. But on the West Coast, like close to BC and stuff, there is still quite a few French speakers. Obviously, not as many as in Quebec because Quebec is the main province for French. But like for me, for example, I'm from Ontario. I'm an Ontarian, and I speak French, and we have like this thing in French called franco-ontarien, which is a person who lives in Ontario that speaks French. Like it's for the longest time, like especially because of Toronto and stuff like that, was prominently English. People who spoke French in Ontario were kind of like not pushed aside, but just kind of like you don't think that, or you assume if you speak French you're from Quebec, but we're not. It's like we're from Ontario, we speak French, and we had like these festivals. The festivals are for like artists franco-ontariens and stuff like that who were the same situation of us. And it's kind of like it's a different thing. We're not when people say, "Oh, you're from Quebec," I'm like, I'm not. I'm from Ontario. I'm not from Quebec because it's kind of like that pride thing. It's like it's different. It's like saying like I don't know if you saying, "Oh yeah, you're from France. Oh, you live in Paris," but you don't. Like you're not in Paris. You know, it's like it's a different part. So it's no, it's interesting because Toronto speaks barely any French. Ontario, sorry, Ottawa is pretty much 50-50 when it comes to it, and then Quebec is well, Quebec. It's the whole province is pretty prominently French, but no, there is still quite a few French speakers, but English is the biggest language, I'd say.
So, for example, where you live, where you go to school, they teach you things in English or they teach you in French?
So growing up, I always went to French schools because my dad found it was very important for me to learn French. My town was 2,000 people, but it was like pure French. Like it's until maybe 5 years ago, not even, it was like you started hearing more English speakers, but till maybe like I was 16, 15, you heard no English in that town. It's only after COVID, people started moving out of the city. So people started moving into smaller towns, more countryside, a bit more calm. So lots of people moved in from the city to our town. So it kind of upped the population a little bit, but it also brought in a bit more English speakers. But it's, no, it's interesting because I grew up in French. Like my school was in French. I went to the school in my town, then I moved to the city and I went to French school there. And then I went to Quebec for boarding school for a year, and it was all in French as well. So
Interesting, actually. So you think if you live in Canada, you're still exposed to English most of the times, right? So it's
100%.
yeah, yeah. So exactly, it's more beneficial for you to learn French because, for example, you can go in some parts of Canada where you won't be exposed to French. For example, Toronto or those
Mhm.
regions. But yeah, as a French person, we see Canada as like everybody's speaking French in a way because that's like
Really?
that's the only thing. Of course, we know they speak English,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but we see like most people, if someone says, "Oh, I'm from Canada," we expect them to speak French.
Yeah, it's a lot less than you would think. Yet again, it depends where you grew up. I think that's the biggest thing because I have friends, ironically, that speak, I shouldn't say very bad English, but like it's not great. And you'd think that we came from the same town. It's not like they grew up in Montreal where it's like prominently French, but we came from the same town, went to the same school, had the same friends, everything. But yet again, their English isn't as the same level. But that might just be a household thing because I was lucky enough to where it's like my dad spoke French to me, my mom spoke English to me, but I could speak whatever language in my household. I was like learning both from a young age. So I had that benefit where I had both parents. But I know some friends that were like French, French, French. And I also have other friends that were like mainly English. So it's like, I think it comes down to the household at the end of the day. But I think that like for me, I'm so happy that I was taught French because it's like, it's an extra thing. It kind of connects you a bit more with the people that do speak French. So it's nice.
No, I mean it's beautiful. That's why learning a new language is not only like learning a language; it's also like being able to connect with so many more people. And French, hey, French after English and probably Spanish is like a top language to speak.
Yeah. Well, I was happy to learn French as well, just because my dad's originally from France. So he was born in France and stuff. So it kind of made me connect with that side of the family a lot more as well. And like that made me even prouder once I went to get my citizenship and stuff like that. So it was kind of like it added that extra layer of culture. And it's like, okay, this is my ancestry, this is my family.
No, of course, of course. One thing, correct me if I'm wrong, but one thing that I like a lot, it's maybe a Quebec thing only, but there's one thing that I like is everything is in French. Like there's no English words, like for example, names of movies or like
Yeah, it's like translated to French. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know what you're saying. It's like I don't know, but I've noticed that like I don't know if it's just Paris, but like know Paris for sure, but I feel like people from Paris use a lot more English words than people from Quebec. People from Quebec, they really focus on like we have this thing it's like franglais, which is like English and French, and it's like a crime if you do it. Like when I would do it in school, like they would genuinely like they would look at you. The teachers would look at you sideways and be like, "What are you doing? Speak French. Don't mix them." And it was like I remember my dad be like he was on me as a kid growing up because I used to watch TV in English and stuff like that. And sometimes I'd mix them around. And speaking with your friends, you think you're cool, like, oh, I'm mixing both languages, but it's like you're just destroying both of them. So it just didn't make sense. And that's one thing that I love is like in Canada, it's like if you're speaking French, speak French. Don't mix them. And it's like if you're learning French, it's okay. Try to speak it just in French. Don't try to mix it. It's like it adds that extra special touch to the language, which is nice.
fair enough. And to be fair, like people from Paris, because they're so connected to tourists, or
Mhm.
they tend to actually speak English when there's no need to. Like you're speaking to a French person, you just speak French. I mean, it makes sense, but it's like as you say, like it feels like people are showing off. Oh, I can speak both if I want.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I don't know. For me, I find it there's something beautiful just about like being able to speak a complete language and just being able to express yourself in that language. I find there's something really nice to that.
No, no, no. Of course, I agree. That's what I love about people from Canada or French-speaking people that are from Canada. Do you think, in a way, there is a rivalry between French regions and like English regions in Canada?
Yeah, there is. There's a big one. I remember, especially when it comes to sports, my school was a very big American football and volleyball was very big in my school. And I remember there was when every time we played an English school, like it was bad. Like it was, they would arrive, especially at school. And I remember my dad telling me stories when he grew up, like around like the English kids. And there was like the neighborhood where he grew up in. Like one side of the street was French, the other side was English. And they would just like, they just there's always been a rivalry between English speaking people and French speaking people. And I think in Canada, if anything, that makes it more because it's like we're a minority of French speaking kids or people in Canada. So like especially for schools, like we were like I'm not gonna repeat the stuff, but it wasn't pretty. Like it was like we wanted to win, and we want to like be the best. We don't want to like we're not gonna let English speakers say like beat us. It was just a rivalry. It was really nice because it adds a touch to school sports and competition, and it kind of gave our school like as far as students, we were proud because we were like, okay, we're French speakers. We're proud to be this school. We want to win. We want to represent our school. We want to represent our community because like at the same time, my town was so small that this school was like the community. Everyone knows everyone in that town. So it kind of like it's not just school, it's community as well. So it's kind of you represent your community, your French speaking community, which is really nice in that sense. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I thought. I mean, that's what a minority does in like a bigger country.
Mhm.
You can take, even talking about Spain, for example, like you have regions like Catalonia or these
Mhm.
regions where they're really proud of their being a minority in a country. Definitely. We've talked about the weather being really, really cold in the winter. Talk to me about the summer weather.
Well, it's like lots of people assume that Canada's just cold all year long, and it's just like we live in igloos and there's just snow and penguins all around all the time. It's just not that. Like, okay, yeah, to be fair, we're what, second week of April, and it was snowing last week a little bit, but it's like there's no more snow on the ground, and it's like it's not normal to have snow so late into the year. It was kind of weird, but realistically, like in the summers, we get 25 degrees, 30 degrees. Like we get polar opposites. We get winters of minus 25 and we get summers of 25. It's for me, I love it because it just gives you so much to do as far as like it's just not always hot or just not always cold. Like it kind of gives you the best of both worlds if you like the cold. I know lots of people say they hate the cold, but at the same time, when you're a born Canadian, especially where I lived, it's like you grew up in the snow, like in winters, it's like playing outside and snowboarding, skiing. It's just such and like hockey. It's just such a big part of our culture that it's like for me, I love it. I also understand why people hate it, especially when you get older, like older in age. I can understand that you don't really like the snow as much. But it's also like the summers are just beautiful. Like it's for playing football, it's amazing. Like I love it. It doesn't get super hot, it doesn't get super cold. It's like when you get evening games, you have like 25 degrees, 20 degrees, and it's like I know you can attest to this. Playing in 20-degree weather is like the perfect for football. You're not too hot, not too cold. So I really enjoy it for the summers. I find it's very nice. I think that the summers are nicer, but the winters are more enjoyable as far as things to do, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's fair. And it's true that like most people would think, okay, it is just cold even during the summer, but like most places now are becoming too hot. Like the southern places becoming too hot in the summer. So Canada is definitely an option to go visit in the summer. Definitely.
Yeah, it's beautiful in the summer too, and especially if you go earlier in the summer, like closer to the end of spring, it's really nice. It's one I think like late spring, early summer is my favorite time in Canada, and that's why I'm always excited to go home after the season's done because I catch just the end of it before it gets too hot during the summer. So it's the best part.
No, no, for sure, for sure. Let's see. So talking more about living in Canada. So we've talked a bit more about like traveling to Canada. Like tell me about the Canadian experience. So of different things to discuss. A lot of people think financially it's a very good country to move to financially. What's your thoughts?
Yes and no. I think one thing is like, okay, you look at Spain, you look at the salary. If you look at money wise, Spain is insanely cheap to live coming from Canada. But being a Spanish person, and if you want to go live to Canada, it's going to be harder because the salaries are a lot lower here. So it's kind of like, it's that type of thing where it's like salaries are higher, but cost of living is higher in Canada as far as money wise. And it's just like, I don't know, there's definitely a lot more opportunity compared to some countries. I don't know, but like, I know Canada has a lot of opportunity for younger people and stuff like that when it comes like to just jobs and job opportunities. But it is like I have friends that are obviously living there right now and like they're renting or I have a buddy that bought a house with his brothers and stuff like that. And it's not cheap. Like a house is crazy expensive right now. The housing market is insane. And I think that's kind of like reflected all over the world right now. But I know that in Canada, it's ridiculously expensive, the housing, and the food's a little expensive too. But I also think that's just because of the state of the world right now. It's kind of crazy. But it's definitely, like I said, it comes with its pros and cons. Like, okay, opportunities are there, salaries there, but you also have to get ready that okay, the cost of living is more. That also, if you go live to Canada, it's very rare that no, you don't have a car because of how stuff is spaced out. So it's not like when you live in Madrid, you can go anywhere with public transport with basically in the province of Madrid. But Canada's not like that. Canada's massive, but and that's the thing. It comes with both. It's an expensive country to live in. I think that it's amazing to live in when you're young. I also think that when you get older and you kind of want to retire and enjoy a bit more, maybe not retiring there. I think it also depends what you're looking for. For me, it's like on the beach in Porto in Portugal. That would be my ideal place to retire. For younger people, there's a great amount of opportunity there too.
Yeah, yeah. No, fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, most countries that have higher salaries, they have higher cost of living. So it makes sense. It's actually fair. It's actually a very good option for someone living on a Canadian salary to live in Europe because let's be honest, the prices are way cheaper, especially in Spain. Um, yeah, I guess it's different mindsets. I would say Europe is more like it's more affordable to live small.
I think it's just like Europeans, especially Spain. I don't know if it's all Europeans, but Spain and Portugal. Like, have you ever heard the analogy about about the fisherman and the American businessman that comes in and says, "Oh, well, if you buy this, then you can buy a boat and eventually grow your business, and then you can enjoy your life." But the guy's already just fishing, getting what he needs, enjoying his time, and I feel like that's what it is. It's like Europeans enjoy the moment, then and just kind of do what they have to just get by, live their life, enjoy their life, while North Americans, kind of Canadians, Americans, kind of like, okay, let me work super hard to enjoy later when there's a way where you can enjoy it now and still enjoy it for the rest of your life. But it's kind of like it's a thing of balance. I think people in Canada are starting to understand that more and more, but definitely the mindset is very different compared to Europeans. And I think the European mindset, in my opinion, is way better because for mental health, just for your enjoyment of life, and just like it's so much better, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, that's a very fair analogy. Wow, coming from like an American or Canadian perspective, you think, oh, Europeans are a bit lazy or like they don't think ahead of
Yeah.
time. They
Mhm.
don't prepare the future or like,
Yeah.
but the truth is like they just live in the present. They don't really think so much about it,
No,
which
that's
is
very. At first, I thought exactly that. I'm like, oh my god, like why is stuff taking so long? Like I'm so used to being okay, like this, done, 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 done. Like I asked for something, it's done. And here it's just like, okay, it'll happen when it happens. And my first year was like, what do you mean it'll happen when it happens? Like I need this now. And it taught me a lot. Like it's like life is not about just having everything as soon as you need it. It teaches you patience and just enjoying it, enjoy the journey, not just get to the result right away as well. So,
no, it's a very fair comparison. Speaking more about Canadian people, so I'm sure that it has a connection with what we just talked about. But what would you how would you describe like a typical Canadian person? Like the way I experienced it is at least they're pretty nice, they're pretty polite as well. So, but tell me,
yeah, I think we get that stereotype of like just being very polite, being very like we get told that we say sorry, eh? Like we say it like that, and just like it's kind of like we are very apologetic, very accommodating. I think it is a sense of I guess Canada's very diversified. It comes like, for example, for me, yeah, okay, I look like how can I say, I look white. I look like I would have. I'm a pure Canadian, but if you look at my family's all immigrants. My family immigrated. My dad immigrated. My mother's family immigrated. So like Canada's like it's hard to say what is a typical Canadian because there are lots of them are immigrants, and I'm second, third generation, depending which side of the family you look at it. But it's like okay, you try and say what's a typical Canadian? You can't really because it's like we're so diversified as far as our population, as far as our culture and stuff like that. So it's like we do get a very good, and I think that's also why we're good at being very accommodating, very respectful, very polite because everyone's different where we're from. So it's kind of like in a way it makes us open to different types of people. So it makes us just be more charismatic, more open about sharing our culture and stuff like that. Like for our respective cultures, like for me, it's like Portuguese and French, but I was born in Canada. But I still love to share and I love to learn about my Portuguese culture. So it's like, and then that kind of opens more doors to like, okay, he's Italian. Let me learn more about him. Or he's German. Oh, what about like? It's just it makes a bond between people easier. So I think that's what we try and share to other people in our mannerisms and stuff like that.
yeah, that's true. I agree. It's a lot of people from all over the world in Canada. So I guess that's true. You can't really say, oh, he's a typical Canadian in that regard.
Yeah, it's there's not really a like, okay, picture this is a typical Canadian. Like it doesn't, it just doesn't like
Yeah.
there's not.
I guess in a way, does that hurt like the Canadian identity in a way where it's like, well, we don't really, it's hard to identify like as a Canadian or something like this, or not really.
Yeah, I actually get that question a lot because like we get told like ironically enough, like I have some American friends who are like, okay, but like what's the Canadian identity? And I'm like, I don't really know how to explain it. It's not something like you can really explain specifically because it's a mix of stuff. I would say our identity is just like we share culture. We love to express like I know for me personally, like, any chance I get to speak French, I do it because it's my culture, it's my heritage, it's my I love to do it. And no, it's kind of like it's hard to put a finger on what is Canadian culture and how I do understand how some people think it affects like we don't have an identity and stuff like that. But I also think that's what gives us our identity in a sense. It's like it's that bond between a bunch of different cultures. And I remember growing up where I grew up originally was Native Indians land, and it was they're called autochtons. And I remember growing up, it was we used to have presentations from these people who are from around our region and would share with us their culture from because obviously that was their land before it was ours, right? So it's kind of like it's nice. It's something that I was introduced in at a young age, and it's like lots of people just wouldn't understand it, and it's just like it's beautiful to see because now back then I was like, oh my god, another presentation. Like for me, I thought that was normal, but now that I look back at it and I see other people, other education systems, other people from different parts of the world, and I'm like, oh my God, I was lucky enough to be able to share this experience with my classmates and someone who was genuinely interested about sharing their culture. So it's definitely, I think that the King identity isn't one specific thing in the end. I think it's just like, it's the mix. I think, and that's the beauty of it. It's that it is a mix of everything.
Definitely. It's definitely an example of tolerance, everybody living together, no matter where you're from in a way. So it's not something that every country could say about their place. It's a bit connecting to what we just talked about, but for example, when you're away, which is the case right now, you live in Spain. What are some things that you miss about Canada?
This is gonna be very stereotypical, but the maple syrup, man. The maple syrup is the thing I miss the most. I just because the thing is you can get some here, but there's nothing that beats the one where it's like the friend of a friend and it's like he makes it in his garage or like something like that. I had a friend that her dad made it in her garage and it's genuinely the best maple syrup I've tasted in my life. And it's like I missed it so much. It was so good. Little things like that. It's just like little I think that's like anyone who moves abroad. It's like it's the little meals that you don't expect to miss, and then when you go home, you're like, "Oh my god, this is amazing! This is what I've been wanting and craving for months." I yeah, it'd probably just be like maple syrup is definitely one of them, which is crazy to think that that little thing I miss it. But no, I miss the people. I find especially some Spanish people, depending where you are, don't like you'll be walking in the street and they won't say hi. Like it's just like I don't know if that's because I'm from a small town and I'm used to I walk down the street, I say hi to whoever, like you say hi, and if you know the person, you stop and talk and then you just go on your way, right? It takes what, a minute, 2 minutes max, or half a second to say hi and you just keep walking, right? But here it's kind of like people just avoid eye contact, which is I find is a shame because it kind of like limits human interaction with people. And it's like, why are we so like in our own minds, in our own bubbles, and so like focused on our own self when it's like there's so many people around where you can just have a conversation with. Like the other day here, I went to an empanada place and I made it a point to have a conversation with the lady at the counter, not just order, because I'm like, if I'm complaining about this, I have to do something to change it too. Maybe try and help people open up. But that's one thing I miss about home. It's like I walk down the street, like I say hi to everyone. Like it's the little lady that's just walking down the street with her dog, and just you say hi, and then she has a big smile on her face, and she has hi back, and it's just like it's nice. That's one thing. It's the openness and the just the friendliness of people back home. I miss that a lot.
Well, I mean, definitely, definitely. I think we do say hi a lot in France. I guess like one thing that
Mm.
I realize is we do say that. Maybe it's. I was thinking because in Spain, maybe it's a little less. Yeah, people don't really talk to each other.
I
Yeah,
think it's where you are as well. Like, I think if you go to a little town, then yeah, okay, people are closer. But like even in the city, like in Ottawa, they do it. But here, it's like in Madrid. I guess Madrid is Madrid as well. It's huge, right? So it's kind of different.
No, no, definitely. I mean, living in a city in the countryside, I guess, is also
Mhm.
very.
But different mindsets.
Yeah, definitely. So another stereotype we have about Canada is like being a very safe place, which is, I don't know, we have an idea of like Canada being so natural, everybody living, not like a paradise type thing. It's like, oh, it's just nice, everybody's calm, nice. What do you think?
I think like any place, there it has its rough parts and it has its good parts. And obviously, if you're in the city and you take one wrong turn and you go down a bad neighborhood, obviously there's more risk. So I think it is a very safe country, and I think it also comes down to the people. Like there's obviously like every country, like it's not. I wouldn't say it's the safest country in the world, but it's also I'm not afraid to walking down the street in the city with my friends in like the city center at 2 a.m. Like I'll walk down there with my friends and I'll be fine. Obviously, if you're a girl, maybe don't walk alone at night, but I feel like that's just a rule universally throughout the world, right? It's just kind of like that. It is a very safe country. It's a very beautiful country, but yet again, people are people, and no matter where you go, there'll always be something that's a little bit more dangerous than others.
Yeah, yeah, no, fair enough, fair enough. Let's talk about sports in general because that's also, well, you've been playing football for your whole life. So actually, in Canada, you say soccer, don't or football.
Yeah, we say soccer. I say football, but I think that's just because I've been Europeanized throughout the years. But yeah, no, yeah, they say soccer.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so tell me about the football system in Canada. Tell me about this.
It's something. I think, for example, and this is a very very unpopular opinion. I think that personally, the system in Ontario is one of the worst and most corrupt systems in youth sports throughout the whole country. If I would even argue throughout the whole of our North America, like it's horrible. For example, in Ontario, there is a league called OPDL, which is the provincial league, and it's one of the notoriously known to be the most corrupt, and it's basically who pays the most gets to the top. You pay to get into big clubs. It's not because the clubs are good, because it's only 5, 6 clubs that play against each other, and they have the biggest budget. People pay the most, and then they pay a lump sum to the provincial federation. I think it was a stat that's like that provincial federation gets roughly like 2 million a year from players and clubs paying to show the talent, but it's just people who have money pay to play. And it's we're not talking about a like one fee for the season. We're talking about monthly payments so you pay per month to play in a league, and it's not even they say it's the best of the best, but every time you ask them, they're vague about it. They kind of hide it. It's just kind of like all over the place. I think that for me, when it comes to, I think the best thing they've done was introduce the CPL, the Canadian Premier League, which is technically the first division of Canadian football if you exclude the MLS, because the MLS is kind of like mixed with the States, right? If you exclude Vancouver Whitecaps, Montreal Club de Foot, and Toronto FC, I think that the CPL is the best thing that's happened because it's kind of put a lens on the system. So it's kind of helping see like, and people are being aware that it is corrupt at the youth level, and it is all about money, and there's being more and more attention put on that, which I'm really happy about because I remember for me growing up, it was impossible because it's like, how do you expect a player to pay 10,000, 8,000 a year
Yeah.
to play football? Like it's insane. It doesn't make sense. And we're not talking about MLS academies or Premier League academies. Okay, fine. If it gets to that point where it's like it's Real Madrid's Fundación, which is like they're because the way oftentimes they do it, they have like a fee, like a program where it's like you pay it to start to get in. Eventually, if you're good enough, they sign you as a youth contract, and you just keep going, right? But back home, it's not that. It's just you can't play, you can't pay, you can't play. Like, forget about it. And even you could be the best player, but if you're not paying that 1,000 a month or whatever it is, it's like they're not going to keep you. They're going to go for the guy that's been. And you could be, for example, you could be the best player at a club, but the guy that's been there since he's 4 years old and he's paid so much is going to get more opportunities. He's going to get recommended to go to the provincial teams to go represent. Because the thing is, to get into national team, you need to fastest way, the best way is to get national team. You need to be playing in the provincial teams, but those cap out at U18 or something like that. But the way it worked is for the provincial teams, especially for the one I was in the province I was in, it was the clubs recommend players.
Yeah.
Don't you see how flawed that is? Because if the club's obviously going to favor the one that's been paying so much money, because at the end of the day, that federation for the provincial gets a part of that money, and they make like 2 million a year off of that. It's ridiculous. It's
Yeah.
horrible.
And I mean, the way you describe it is just like, I guess it's not a place where you want to play football, describing it like this.
And that's why I'm hoping that with the World Cup and everything, it's really just gonna like raise the standards and kind of be like, okay, are we gonna stop being a joke about this and actually? And it sucks because as a Canadian, I'm like, I hate talking about bad about it, but it's like it doesn't make sense. Like I think like for example, the hockey is it's not the best system in the world, but it definitely works a lot better than than the soccer or the football at the end of the day, because actually they have where it's like, okay, you have this league, okay, and then you have like there's actually like there's no relegation, but there's like you have like AAA, which is like the highest youth, and then you have OHL, which is Ontario Hockey League, and then after that you have NHL, or there's so many leagues depending on where you are, but it's like you have a lot more of a clear path and steps to go than this is just kind of like, am I paying or am I not paying or what's happening? Like but no, it's a shame, but it's the reality of it.
No, definitely. I mean, that's why in every country where this is happening, you can see like the overall level is just lower and lower because it is nobody that's going for like to compete with higher. And I mean, it's no secret. Any place where sport is accessible, popular. For example, football in Europe is popular. Why? Because it's free or you barely pay for anything. And by the moment you start to become good, they will pay. They will invest in you. They will pay you a small wage, but they will make it easier for you to play the sport because you're good at it.
They see you as an investment, not just a dollar sign.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's similar in some parts of the United States too, where it's like it's so expensive just to be able to play. So just travel. I find it crazy where
Well,
parents
I
have.
think you know this when it comes to even to universities in the States. How much, if you don't get a scholarship, it's ridiculous how much you have to pay if you're out of state. And I think that's where it comes from. At the end of the day, okay, you're paying for an education, but if you're going there, let's be real. If you're picking a school and you're a footballer, you're not picking it because it's the best education. You're picking it because it has the best facilities to play football. But if they're not giving you a scholarship and it's 25,000 a year, that's insane. Like that's insane amount of money to pay for that. I don't know.
Definitely. I mean, if you can take money away from the equation and like focus on football itself, well, the country is gonna get only better and better in terms of level, and then it's gonna go up to like the first division is gonna get better and better until like you actually produce talents and you can keep them in a way.
It kind of seems like they don't understand the fact that if we just develop the sport and develop the right infrastructure from it, money will come to the clubs at the end of it. You don't need to rush it's like they're just trying to get money right away and don't care. Like they're focusing now and ignoring about 15 years from now. Like imagine if the system was fixed when I was a kid and where we would be now for the World Cup. I guarantee you Canada would be much, much higher in the world rankings. And it's just because of that would have been 12 years ago. 3 World Cups ago. Think about it. It's like maybe we would have qualified for more than just 2 in the last 4. Like it's
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, definitely. I mean, that's what corruption does. It's like, how can I get money now and like the easiest way possible? So I guess if you think this way, then it's only gonna get worse and worse. But you'll get richer. People in power will get richer. But yeah, it's
no,
it's
but
basically corruption.
I like to think that with the new introduction of this CPL and seeing that FIFA's actually kind of like supporting the CPL a bit more. I don't know if you heard about the new offside rule, the Arsene Wenger offside rule, where it's like that Canada's the first league to actually implement it in their official league season. So, which I'm kind of happy about because it's kind of showing that Canada can grow and is having the support to grow as football becoming a big sport. Because the thing is, football is the most played sport in Canada, but it's not the biggest sport in Canada. And that's the thing, because hockey is the biggest sport in Canada. And from it becoming a second sport, as you can say, it's kind of like, okay, well, we're growing, but we need to do it right to grow at the right speed and have the right infrastructures and keep going. And I'm happy to see that the CPL is getting some support from it. And it kind of shows that there's trust in them to do it right.
Yeah, no, definitely. Also, what you said about ice hockey, because ice hockey is huge in Canada. Definitely, it's probably the best country in the world. So yeah,
Yeah.
tell me about that, the importance in society.
Well, when I was here and the Olympics were happening, I'm not too happy about it because we lost in the gold medal match, but it is what it is. It's a part of it. We won the Four Nations, which is a competition for hockey as well. It's just kind of like hockey for me is kind of, it's not like the only thing I grew up on. Like in a way, I used to go watch games. There's the Ottawa Senators, which is the NHL team in my city. And it's just kind of like, especially when our national teams play, there's a sense of pride. Even if I don't follow the sport that much, I want my team to win. Like I was here, like I made sure I found a way to have a VPN, watch the games. I didn't care what time it was. I was always trying to get like, okay, I can't do anything. I have 2 hours. I need to sit down and watch this game. And it's a part of our identity at the end. And I'm really happy about. And lots of people are like, well, wouldn't you want hockey to be the main, sorry, not hockey, football to be the main sport or stuff like that. And I heard that lots of people didn't like at first, didn't like the third Canada World Cup kit because it was like shattered ice. And it's like some people say, like, oh, it's a hockey effect on it. I'm like, well, at the end of the day, yes, it is because hockey, we're known for hockey. And at the end of the day, we're trying to grow into other sports, but it's still a part of us. It'd be like ignoring our identity. Our country is known for freezing cold and hitting a puck on the ice. Like that's what it is. And I think at the end of the day, you just have to embrace it. And I personally love it. I love hockey. I've never really played it growing up because I've just always been football, football, football. But it's at the end of the day, I also like believe that both of them can coexist without having an issue, because if you think about it, both seasons are polar opposites. One's during the winter, one's during the summer. So it's like there's no reason for you not to be able to enjoy both.
Oh yeah, for sure. Ice hockey. Well, the two big nations. Well, I would say three with Russia too, but ice hockey obviously. I like what you say. Like you can like both at the end. It's not like a
You don't have to pick.
competition. Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Realistically, are two different sports. They don't have anything in common. Like you can just enjoy both. You don't have to pick and choose. So.
Yeah, definitely. And Canada is so good at ice hockey. Do you think it also is it like more accessible for kids to play ice hockey? Is it more like easier or it's also very expensive?
It's crazy expensive. It's mental how expensive it is, but it's more so the equipment that is, well, it's not cheap for the travel and stuff like that, but the equipment's what makes it expensive. And it's not necessarily, so the reason like I was complaining that football was expensive is not because it costs a lot to play, it's because you're being charged a lot to play. Then hockey is definitely a more expensive sport to play because it costs more because of your skates, your sticks, your equipment. There's a lot more you have to buy and you have to invest in to play the sport. So it's kind of it's different because you're not being charged a crazy amount to play, but it's costing you more than football. So it's kind of like it is an expensive sport depending to what level you wanna like go at and play at. But I think that logistically and morally and ethic, it's better than the football because it's like you're paying for your stuff. You own that equipment after. It's not like you're paying for a month. So it's, I don't know. It's not cheap though. It is expensive.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the equipment looks expensive. I don't know how expensive it is, but
It's ridiculous. It's a pair of skates. A good pair of skates is, let's just say you could buy 2 pairs of football boots for the price of the price of skates.
yeah. Well, I guess sports where you need a lot of equipments tend to be
Yeah, it's
expensive.
bound to be more expensive, right? It's like you look at skiers, like they have a lot more that they have to buy, and
Yeah.
it is what it is at the end of the day. If you pick that sport, well, that's what happens with it, I guess.
Yeah, no, for sure. For sure. Okay, I think we're gonna move into more of like a quick fire type of questions where it's like to finish it up. So and well, you can take the time to answer if you need to, but
Okay.
it's like the goal is for you not to think too much about it. Okay, so the first quick question is like, what's the best city in
Ottawa.
Canada?
Ottawa. I stand by this. People say it's the most boring city. I'm sorry. I shouldn't say I hate. I don't like the youth from Toronto. I find they're kind of annoying. And for me, Ottawa just has a place in my heart. Like being from Ottawa is obviously, you think it's boring. The nightlife's not great. I will admit that. But for me, in my opinion, it's my home city. I will never say that another city is better than Ottawa.
I mean, the only other city I could have expected is what, Toronto, no?
Well, Montreal's pretty good, but you also have Vancouver. Vancouver's a nice city, but for me, you'll never beat Ottawa, in my opinion. And I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate from people from Toronto, Montreal, and just being like, "What is this guy talking about?" Ottawa for me is my city.
Okay, okay, very good. So, what about a touristic spot? It doesn't have to be a city. What's the best thing to do in Canada if you have to pick one?
Are we talking in the summer or in the winter? Because that changes a lot.
Well, you can give me one for each.
If I would have to say in the winter, Mont Tremblant is amazing for the skiing. Saint Sauveur, again, for the skiing and the sights. It's just like, I remember I would go there like every week with school to go skiing and snowboarding. And I just remember I have the view like at night when you go skiing, you see like all the lights of this, like of like the little towns around, like at the top of the hill. It was beautiful. Like it's some of the best memories I have as well. For the summer is tricky because it depends what you want to do. City life, unironically, Toronto's probably good for the city. It's a better, it's a good city. I think Ottawa has a lot of stuff to do as well. More sightseeing, a bit more historical stuff because it's the capital at the end of the day. Like I said, nature. Banff is beautiful. If you go in the summer, it's like a beautiful park. It's genuinely, I would recommend it. I want to go on a trip there soon. And just go hiking, go camping. Like camping, nature camping is beautiful. Like you just go, like you have their sites, you go there, you camp there, you walk around, you hike. It's for me, the nature in the summer is the best thing, and I would recommend Banff for that for sure.
Good, good, good. Well, I think we've talked about it before, but what about the best food in Canada? Best meal or the best?
So this is another thing, cabane à sucre, sugar shack, how you want to call it, depending where you're from, is something that not lots of people have had, and I don't know how to explain it. It's just like you have to search it up, like sugar shack meal. It's like maple syrup, pancakes, like it's just like it's not just like a traditional breakfast. It's like it's not the healthiest breakfast in the world. For me, that's my favorite. And it's actually like it's in spring. So it's like right now they're starting. It's a little cold, but once it gets a little warmer and the trees start to leak more for the sap for the maple syrup and stuff, it's gonna be the season. And like I miss it so much because I miss it every year because I'm here. But I know my family goes, my friends go. It's like Sugar Shack is like another dessert is like beaver tails. So it's not actually a beaver tail. It's kind of like it's a breaded dessert. It's a kind of a pastry, I guess. Traditionally, it's just with brown sugar. But like when we'd go on the Rideau Canal, so it's like so we have technically the longest ice skating rink in the winter, which is the Rideau Canal, and you just put your skates on, you skate up and down. Like it's like I think it's like 8 kilometers or something like that. So you skate up and down, and there's like these little huts where it's like they sell pastries or hot chocolate because it's colder and stuff like that. And beaver tails were always the one that I would go to. It was the best thing. I would always get the Nutella one with the Smarties on top, or the M&Ms, whatever you want to call it. So it was pure sugar but
Yeah.
delicious.
So I feel like it's a lot of sweet, a lot of.
Yeah, but I think that's because of the maple syrup. Like there's another thing. It's oh my god, what's it called in English? In French, it's la tire d'érable. So it's basically all it is. It's basically maple syrup heated up, very very hot, and add a bit of sugar, and then you put a stick in the snow, and then you put it in the snow, and it kind of hardens because of the cold. You just mix it, like you put your stick and you make it like a lollipop out of it. It's for me. I remember going like to Christmas markets, and they were like $1 each. I'd have like $10 in my pocket, and I'd go there like every like 10 minutes and grab a new one because they were just so good. It's very sweet, very maple related, but yeah, it's very very Canadian.
Fair enough. Fair enough. What's the big false stereotype about Canada?
That we live in igloos. That's probably the stupidest one. But honestly, like I'm not gonna lie, most stereotypes of Canadians are pretty bang on. Like the realistic ones as well, like are pretty accurate. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't heard any very outlandish ones that aren't true. So
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, I think that's everything we had to talk about. Thank you, Nicolas.
thank you to
Well,
you. Thanks for having me.
of course, of course. I knew you were gonna do good talking about Canada, so that's why. So for people that are interested to learn about different countries, regions of the world, there is the YouTube channel right here, and you can also follow me on social media and other platforms, podcast platforms. So thank you, sir, and stay tuned for another episode.